Good afternoon from sacred space at Titania's realm. It's 2:13 p.m. on the 24th of March 2024. Boy, where is the time going? It's flying as fast as I'm dancing, or I'm dancing as fast as old Father Time, one or the other. Not quite sure about that. It's in the lap of the gods, people. However, I had a wonderful night again last night, dancing for my beautiful, talented musician friends, alter egos, whom I've been dancing for in various venues for now 13 years. So it's quite wonderful and and I feel very much loved and supported in my wild shamaniac ways with my wild dancing, which can be fiercely innovated at times. So there's lots to say and lots to unpack about yesterday. Actually, yesterday was a very spiritual day, very spiritually open day. I had a lot of anxiety and anticipation and nerves, and I thought, is this even all mine? But I'm like that with my complex PTSD and my anxiety issues is I don't like change, and I find it difficult to go to new venues or new spaces, and I'm very rigid about having my own little safe little spot or zone. It's actually quite nuts, people, but this is what I'm left with after cumulative damage of 59 years worth of trauma. But so so I'll try and unpack it all for you. I did write notes last night, quite furiously writing notes, but I won't refer to my notes. I will try and lay it out for you as it unfolded. So because I was so nervous and anticipatory, and it was just weird, people, because I was actually quite tired from dancing the previous night on Friday night, and I knew I was pushing my spirit by going 2 nights, but I thought it's time. I've had a few suggestions in recent weeks, even at the Brooklyn Standard, staff members saying, you're going to come back tomorrow night for the Saturday night. And each time I've said, oh no, you'll kill me. It's too much. I can't do it. But I thought, well, alter egos sweetly invited me to come to the Koala Tavern gig. And I thought, I'll give it a whirl. I'll see how I go. So, and I think part of it was anxiety about, will I be able to dance the whole night? Will I have to go home early? What elements of, things happen with the general public, because when you're out in a crowd, you never know whom you're going to meet, and sometimes it can be dodgy as fuck. So I have that kind of element of surfing the anxiety over, all sorts of things that are way out of your control when you're out in public spaces, anywhere really. So I thought, well, Mama T has been doing this for 13 years, and Mama T can keep doing it, and I'll just be intrepid, and I'll just surf all my own fears and anxieties, because they're not always based on reality. Sometimes they're just kind of hyperbolating of my very fragile nervous system, and I have to talk it down, say, shut the fuck up, nervous system. You're doing okay, Tanya. And off I go, right? So here's what happened yesterday. Yesterday was the 23rd of March. It's not a particularly potent day in my personal lineage or family histories. But when the spirits want you to be on some vibe, the spirits lay it out for you. in no uncertain terms, in ways that you cannot obfuscate, deny, or, avoid, and you just have to surf it as it comes. So I got dressed up in my full regalia. I even considered wearing my top hat, my purple top hat, because it's cooler now. But I thought, oh no, it's a bit too much to wear my purple top hat to a pub type atmosphere. But I should have gone the full tilt, because I need to be wearing my beautiful hat. It's a beautiful hat and I love it. But I can't wear it through the heat of summer, because I just sweat too much and I just end up a molten puddle of, greased makeup falling off my face and discombobulation, and it's not sexy or glamorous or beautiful at all, It's not powerful, it's not happening, So I left my hat behind. But I still wore my flower in my hair, as I do. And I was dressed in my full regalia, my purple corset, which I decided to match up with my black lace, comes down at shin length, calf length. Very nice black lace skirt. And I had fishnet stockings on, and I had my studded bikey looking boots, because I haven't been wanting to wear them through summer either, because it's too hot. But now it's cooler, and they're quite comfortable to dance in, ironically. So I'm all glammed up, and I had my snake bracelet on, and my big earrings, and I look pretty bloody fabulous for a zombie. This zombie can scrub up well when she wants to. I'm not really a zombie anymore, though. I'm kind of a re-innovated, revivified, re-innovated, soul-ridden husk, the hollow bone. Well, anyway, maybe not quite the hollow bone. It's not like I was channeling any, spirit messages per se, but the spirits have a way of tweaking at me every day and every night in the space-time continuum, and it's getting more intense lately, and I'm having to ride that wave as well. Not sure what they're preparing me for. I hope it's something really wonderful and joyous and loving and heartfelt and sincere, but maybe it's my own freaking death. One never knows. The yin and the yang, it can flop either way, right? But Mama T is death-defying, as she's done since early childhood. That's why I'm a weird little squirrel and an oddball, and I do incongruent things like dance wildly in the face of my own physical demise and, carry on. So anyway, as I was saying, I was all dressed up by 4 p.m. and the gig didn't start till 8. And but I got this intense spiritual kind of in a really intense anxiety. So I rang my friend Lynn. My friend Lynn, who knows, she's been my friend for 35 years. So she's like a sister to me, and she knows me extremely. One of the few people on this earth to know me extremely well. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the anxious, the ebullient, the magical, the mundane. She's seen all aspects of me, and she's seen me ride through so many fucking storms in my life. And so she's a wonderful support to me, as is my friend Jared, and I'm very blessed to have them as family in my life. So, especially since my own family of origin was so defunct and debauched and de-fucking-fective. So anyway, so I ring Lynn, because Lynn lives very close to where the Koala Tavern is. So I said, Lynn had initially said, did I want to come for dinner? And I said, no, I won't come for dinner. I won't impose on you for dinner. But I was wondering if I might come and see you before I go to the Koala Tavern. I said, because I'm so anticipatory and excited, and it's weird. Like, I've never been to this space before, but there's no reason to be this freaking hyped up over nothing. Odd. So I said, I'm already dressed in my full regalia and I'm ready to go, and it's like 4 hours before I have to be there. It's a bit nuts. So I said, I might come and see you before I go out dancing tonight, Lynn, and have a cup of tea with you, and, we'll just chat as we do and pass the time and calm my fucking farm, right? Which we did do. So I drove to Kapalaba, visited my beautiful Lynn, and was sitting there chatting, and then I got very nervous and excited as the time, and I said, oh, well, it's time to go now. And so I arrived at the Koala Tavern, and it's raining, so that's okay, because it was not far, the car park's right next to the building. So I get out the car, and I haven't been to that venue I don't think I've ever been to that venue, to be honest. I mean, back in the day, 29 years ago, when I left my marriage, I used to go dancing at the Alex Hills pub, and I think I went to a pub that was on the other side of Old Cleveland Road, down the other end. I think I danced there a couple of times. But this was back in, we're talking nearly 30 years ago. So I don't remember ever dancing at the Koala Tavern. But anyway, I mean, no big deal. It's a venue like any other. So I walk up to go to the building, and I didn't realise, but I was at the very rear of the building. Not that that matters, but because I don't know the lay of the building and how everything is, I just walk up trying to figure out, where I am and what I'm doing, kind of thing. And there were 3 Aboriginal women, an older woman, like older than me, probably in her late 60s, mid to late 60s maybe. Well, she might have actually been closer to me in age. Anyway, she had a beanie on, and she's just sitting very calmly and passively while she had 2 daughters with her. And one of the daughters, who looked to be about in her 30s, was shrieking at her, "You're an asshole, and you're a terrible mother, and you've taken all my money." And I'm like fucking triggered, right? Because it was the exact mirror of what used to happen with my mother, except I didn't scream at my mother about taking my money, although she did actually rob me of very valuable land in Waiheke Island, and she did engineer the loss of all my money through my divorce by colluding with my husband, and she did rob me in the will dispute for the final 2.5 years, kicking me in the face 2.5 years after her death. So I'm watching this young woman and I'm thinking, oh, this is fucking ugly, isn't it? But I should have said that to my mother too. I should have told her what a fucking arsehole she was and what an animal she was. But I would never have dared, because my mother was a very violent person that she contained most of the time too. She would have murdered me if I ever spoke to her like that. I think there are probably, in my whole relationship with my mother, it was really only after my divorce that I actually started speaking to her a bit like that, like the daughter did, just as a survival mechanism, because she was so savage to me and vicious, So I'm looking at this, and I looked at the other sister, who was also looked to be in her early 30s, and she's just like, I think she was on something. Either that, she might have had some intellectual disability, but she was kind of, lights were on, but no one was there. But the other daughter that was shrieking was fully activated and fully innovated and going, "You fucking ass," and the mother's like, "Oh, well, fuck off," kind of thing, but calmly. So I thought to myself, as I do, my inner shaman, I thought, I'm not buying into this bullshit. This is too triggering, and I've come out for a lovely night of dancing that I've been specifically invited for, which was lovely. Thank you, Scott and Paulie and Luke. So anyway, so I walk around to the right of the building, and fortunately there were two men standing there, and one looked to be a security guard. So, the king parrots have just arrived. How beautiful. If it wasn't raining, I'd run out in the garden and welcome them. Every time they come to my garden, I scream out, "Oh my God, the king is here!" And the male little birdie will come and like to me, and it's like a beautiful romance that goes nowhere because he's a king parrot and he has a wife, a mate. Look, Charlie, the kings are out there, Charlie. So it's all rainy and drizzly out there, so we won't chase them. We'll leave them be. But I haven't seen them for a while, actually. How delightful. Anyway, a segue. Sorry, got distracted by Mother Nature and bird life. Life really is for the birds, people. So, and the dogs and the cats and all the other beautiful pets we bring into our lives. So, so anyway, so I say the security guard, I said, can you direct me to where the bands are playing tonight, where the band's playing? And he says, oh, you sure, love? He said, just turn right and then turn right again and walk all the way down and you'll find it. So I'm like, oh, yeah, thanks. So I strut my stuff and I go back and I start to walk past these three Aboriginal women again. And the daughter's still going off her chops. So I don't know what made me decide to engage, but it was kind of spiritual, I guess. So I looked at the mother and she's just looking at me like deeply ashamed, And and I looked at the daughter and I said to her, love, I said, it's enough now, I said. We've just come through the most terrible, traumatising COVID epoch of the last 4 years. I said, where everybody is fucking traumatised. I said, and nobody's well, and it's been harrowing. I said, how about you just try being kind to each other? Because I said, you're going to need each other more and more as time goes on. I said, so just be kind. And the daughter kind of looks at me, probably was briefly thinking about punching me in the face because she was really... So I just held my own, as I do, because I'm a bit of a maniac like that. I had the same upbringing, the exact same. It was like a mirror. And here's the freaky fucking thing, right? I did a trance drumming about a week ago, and I usually don't take much notice what's said because it can be my ego, it can be trickster spirits feeding me little bullshit delusions. I have to kind of, every time I do a trance drumming, I have to kind of write it all down as notes and then analyse and go, that's BS. That might be true. That's interesting. And it's self-analysing, probably my own subconscious, which comes through in the trance, right? So in the trance drumming, I had actually I clicked on this earlier this afternoon. They had mentioned, and I didn't know what they were talking about. They mentioned triple goddess, and I went, oh, Mother Matron Crone. And they went, yes. And I said, what are you talking about, Mother Matron Crone? I am the crone. Officially I am a crone now. So I said, is this about me? But they didn't explain it anymore. They just laid that out. Triple goddess, Mother Matron Crone. So then I'm standing in front of these three women. One's very het up. And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, the triple goddess, the mother, the matron, the crone. his confirmation that I'm going to have to go back and look at those trance notes now, because there may be other things that were accurate in it that I just went, oh, whatever. Because you get sometimes they drop little nuggets of hints of things happening in the future that don't make sense. Because my spirit people are bloody cryptic and make me work for the messages, by the way. And I always, when I open up and I do my protection prayers and, create the space, I always say, give me messages that are clean and clear and cannot be misinterpreted or confused or denied, or that are, they're so clear that you know exactly what you're talking about. But no, sometimes they still like to play these little psychological games with me, don't they? But anyway, I'm not angry about it. I'm just aware that that's my relationship with the higher beings, that they like to stir me up occasionally. So, and of course they're hearing me talking about how they like to stir me up, so they'll probably stir me up even more just for the sheer mischief of it. But anyway, love to the higher realms. I'm not disrespecting you. I'm just saying that that's how we communicate, for the love of all the gods, literally. So anyway, so I just finished saying to the three women, we've just come through the most terrible, abject horror, and it's enough now, and be kind to each other. And the older mother looks at me very calmly. She had such a calmness to her. It's the kind of calmness that I get before I'm about to fucking completely lose my shit. So I was conscious of that too. I thought she's just holding it very much and together in her spirit. And she's a woman of this land. She's Aboriginal, and I even said, this is your land and you have the connection to this land, Anyway, she looked at me and answered when I said how terrible the COVID thing. She said the COVID thing was a non-event. She said it was a nothing. It was just a drama. It was just a non-event. So I'm looking into her eyes. And she had the most beautiful, stunning, pale blue eyes, the colours of Celanese sapphires. And she was indeed a beautiful woman. She not very, very black, but dark skin, but with these beautiful eyes, and her face. Oh, look, she could have been a model when she was young. She was so beautiful. So she looks at me calmly and says, COVID was nothing. She said, I was raised in a mission. Well, that means she was one of the stolen generation. Still of that the last of the stolen generation, right? So I look at her and I look at the daughter who's still wanting to shriek but is watching how I react to things, actually listening in. So I look at her and I said, you're very beautiful. She was. I don't give those compliments unless they're heartfelt and genuine, believe me. So I said, you're very beautiful, and I want you to know, I said, I'm very sorry about your childhood. I'm very sorry about what happened to you. It was absolutely appalling how your people were treated. I'm terribly, terribly sorry. And you're quite right. I said, compared to COVID, your childhood would have been much, much worse. And she looked into my eyes, this beautiful woman and I, and she saw the kinship that I understood about terrible childhoods, right? We're just looking into each other's eyes, and it was almost a transmigration of souls without any words spoken. We're just connecting, right? And she nodded. And so I turned and looked at the angry daughter, who may very well be righteously angry, because I just debriefed about it with my friend Jared, and he said, well, you know how sweet and docile and, charming and wonderful your mother could pretend to be with strangers and yet was an utter monster. I said, oh, I know, Jared. It was playing out all in front of me, and I was thinking, why am I even like trying to resolve the situation, because it's long years of intergenerational fucking trauma, number one. Number two, it's not actually any of my goddamn business. But I felt moved to kind of just try and peacemake, because I was triggered by it, right? So it was really about my old wounds flaring up when I'm about to have a wonderful night dancing, and I'm already soul innovated, from hours before I even got there. So this is that I was meant to be in that place, in that time, because the gods, Biame, or the Holy One, knows best, right? So I turned to the younger daughter and I said, I'm about to go dancing now, but may Biame bless you all. And I went to walk away. And the young woman said, don't use the Aboriginal God's name to me. And she says, don't mention that name to me, Biame. And she looked almost fucking demonic. And I thought, because I am a white woman, I'm a white woman with sometimes an Indigenous spirit and a Jewish spirit, and I get it. I have the trauma experiences as a white Jewish New Zealand born woman as well. And so I can connect to people on that level, because I've walked the fucking walk and I've talked the talk and I've survived it, and I'm thriving in my old age in my weird quirky ways. So I held my ground and I looked at the young woman and I thought, oh well, because she says a white woman with a New Zealand accent talking to her about Biame, I've probably offended her. Let's be fair here. So I looked at her and very calmly I said, I'm terribly sorry if I have offended you by invoking your God's name. I said, I mean no offence. I said, I certainly would not be offending God. I said, so please forgive me, I said, if I've pronounced Biame wrong, or if it's not the right name of the God for your mob, or, wherever you come from. I said, I've learnt that it's Biame, but I may be, it's possible that I may be incorrect, and I've deeply offended you. And I said, and if so, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you. I said, I just wish you to be blessed, and, I'm going to go dancing now. So the woman looks at me and she says, Biame, there is no God, she shrieks, right? Well, she's come up against the wrong person to tell that to, because even though I'm very heathenish and old age, I'm a Viking and a shaman, and I've got a weird relationship with God and their little trickster messages and situations they put me in. It's a bit fucking hard work sometimes. But I thought, okay, we're dealing with something that's soul ridden by something really fucking dark now. Because I knew when she said not to dare invoke that name, that she's still a believer, right? You can just tell. So I turned to her, and in a really gravelly, almost demonic voice myself, matching her energy output, I went, don't tell me there's no God on top of everything else. And I looked at her like that. And then she kind of stopped and paused and looked at me like this. It was a really fucking strange encounter. But I'm used to having strange encounters with people. That's why I'm a shaman. It's so strange, but it's also my normal, if that makes sense. So anyway, she just stops and she looks at me. I didn't have my Deify t-shirt, I had my beautiful purple corset, so there was nothing, unless she knew Hebrew, there was nothing that could indicate to her that I'm a God botherer, right? Or I used to be a God botherer. Now I'm just a God stirrer-upper, and we have our little arguments, and it's all very sweet, really. But anyway, so she looks at me and she says, "You don't understand. I have a terrible mother." And so I glance over at the mother again and I look at her and I nod. That's her reality. I'm not going to argue with that because that's my reality too. So again, I calmly look at this young woman and I said to her, "Oh, you don't understand. I understand more than you know, 'cause I had a terrible mother too." And we just stood. It was a brief moment where we looked at each other, the daughter and I, the very angry daughter. And she was only like three paces away from me. She ran into my arms and threw her arms around me and kissed my cheek. And I almost want to cry about it because the kinship had moved from her sweet and beautiful and attractive but very damaged mother to the daughter. And so I accepted her embrace and the kisses, and I just nodded, and then I turned and I started walking to find my way to where the band was, where the band stage is, and I suppose it's the club and I don't know what to call it, the venue, the club and the Koala Tavern where the bands play. So here's where it gets weird again, and for the love of all the gods, I can't remember the name of the song, but it's a song that mentions God in it. It'll come to me probably some other time. But I'm walking past and it's still raining, and I'm walking past and I'm going past the bistro, and for some mad reason, probably because I'm triggered by that encounter with three wounded Aboriginal women fighting out their stuff as a family of women. I'm going past the bistro and I'm looking into the window of all the people dining and eating. And actually, I was thinking about it, next time I go to that, the Alter Egos gig there, I might actually grab a meal there beforehand. Be a nice thing to do if I have enough money that weekend, because it looked all very nice. So I'm looking into the bistro, and for some mad reason, I must have disassociated slightly. I was looking to see if Alter Egos were sitting and having a meal, which is nuts because they start at 8 and this is like 6 minutes past 8. Why would they be having a meal when they've got to be on stage, right? So then I kind of realised, I thought, oh honey, you're in an altered state, rein it back in. But as I'm walking past, I hear pipe music coming out of the bistro. Piped music, not pipe music, piped music. And it's a song and it mentions God in it. It's a popular song, or a rock song. It's not a Christian spiritual or anything. It's not I can't think of the freaking title of it. Anyway, I can't even think of the line. It's like I moved in and out of reality. I really was triggered by those lovely women. Look, let's face it, they were kind of lovely and loving. Once I called them down from their preternatural rage, which they've got every right to be enraged after the last fucking 4 years and growing up in a mission and having all that dysfunction, and they were fighting about money and, oh, dear goddess. So I'm soaked in all this trauma stuff that I can fucking fully resonate with given my history. And I thought to myself briefly, as I walk past the bistro and I hear this song mentioning God, I thought maybe I should turn on my heels and go home, because it's potentially going to be a very weird fucking night, right? But something said to me, no, Tanya, you're here for a reason, so just keep strutting your stuff as you do every weekend, no matter what, no matter who, no matter how, no matter when. Just keep dancing. So I keep walking along, get to the doorway. My ears flubbery because I've realised when I mosh my neck too much, which I did on Friday, I get trouble with my eustachian tubes. So I've got this weird thing happening with my ear again, and it's self-inflicted. I'm not complaining, but I'm just noticed that it's popping in and out, feeling oily and weird again. Anyway, so we won't focus on the physical malaises because they are legion, and I'm trying to push them all out of me too. My ear goes crack again. So anyway, so I take a deep breath, I walk through the door, there's hardly any people there, probably about 12 people there. Yeah, that's about right. Anyway, maybe even less. And as I say, I'm weird about going to new venues where I don't know the layout, and I don't know the people, I don't know where to sit, I don't know where to be. I'm such a creature of routine and habit, which keeps me grounded and, settled, and alleviates some of the chronic fucking anxiety, right? So, and don't worry, I've been choosing to live without psychiatric meds since June 2016. So I just ride through the anxiety and try not to let it overwhelm me, and I just have to manage it. But I live with it, and it's quite debilitating at times. But it's my own stuff, it's nobody else's, so I own it, and I talk myself down from it. As I said, you could go home, Tanya, or you could just see what's going to happen tonight, right? And it's mainly my curiosity about life that sometimes means that when I have triggering events, like weird spiritual events, like that song about God just after I've defused a massive fucking fight with three women, I walk into the club and I just power walk right in. I walk straight up in front of Scott. His whole face lit up. This is how I know he's a genuine friend and does love me. His whole face lit up with happiness. It was delightful. If you watch my videos, Scott. So so I took my my turquoise blue shamanic tribal looking bag off, and I slung it on the table and took my shawl off and shoved it in the bag, and it was a little table that was put right by the stage. I don't know whether that was deliberate or it just happened to be there, but it was convenient, to have it right near the stage, because my spot traditionally at the Treasury Casino was right by the stage in front of Scott. So I'm like, oh, that's cute. It's just like the good old days. But then I motioned to him, am I all right here? Because, at the Brooklyn Standard, he made it sort of obvious he doesn't want me standing in front of him in that venue, so I moved to the opposite side. So just out of respect, not that I need to be, controlled or manipulated or dominated in any way, but just out of respect, I just said, am I all right here? And he nodded. So, okay, it's on. I'll be dancing here. And, of course, I have to move onto the dance floor anyway, which was slightly to the left of me. So immediately I start dancing. And I danced so hard and so full on last night, because the reason why Scott, invited me to go along there is there's not a lot of people, and I can do my full performance. I call it performance art. Moshing and punctuating and doing all my crazy movements to all the lyrics and all the songs, and feeling all the emotion moving through my body and expressing all the emotion. Oh, look, I probably look like a mental case, let's face it. I've been aware of that for 13 years. But, oh, Charlie, you're going to have to hop off that. No, thank you. I just keep doing what I've always done because I enjoy myself. And at the end of the day, if I look like a crazy person, it's not about that. I couldn't care less what anyone really thinks, bottom line. I'm just enjoying, the music as it moves through me and as it affects my spirit and my body responds, and, it can be very cathartic at times, and it can also be spiritual and beautiful. And I enjoy it, so I keep doing it, even though I'm getting older, and it's kind of like flogging a dead horse, really. But anyway, 2 nights, babies. I managed 2 nights last night. So I danced wildly and joyously to every song. And in the break, Scott stopped and we had a nice conversation, which was lovely because we don't usually get to talk to each other at the Brooklyn Standard, because he's so popular and he's so loving and kind to everyone. Everyone wants to talk to him and hug him and kiss him, and so we just usually have a few little minutes here and there and a little bit of quick banter or something. And so it was lovely to actually be able to have a conversation, and with both him, and at the end of the night we chatted again with Luke and Paulie too. So it was just wonderful. I really appreciated that. And so the other thing that happened was, after a few, because I was there from, what time did I get there? About 8:15, because I was delayed by the fracas with the women out the front. So from 8 till, I think they finished at 11:30, and and then we chatted a little bit outside. So I didn't get home till about just after midnight. So it was an early night to get home, actually, because it was an early start to the evening. So, but that's okay. That's good, because they have to work again, those men, on Monday. They have to summon up all their energy and go to work and do the gigs each, basically 4 or 5 times a week. I said to Scott, I don't know how you do this. I'm exhausted just from 2 nights of dancing. I don't know how you work. Even one night of dancing exhausts me, actually. I said, I don't know how you work full time and gig at night. It's like I would have a complete mental breakdown. I would crack open like a Fabergé egg, And he said, but I'm used to it, Tanya. I've been doing this for 15 years. So I nodded. You do get used to a certain lifestyle. I really admire them, how hard they work to produce music for the Brisbane music scene. It's like you 3 men and Ness and Nathan and I can't remember who the drummer was in Ramjet. I think it was a different drummer last time. But the drummer in Ramjet and Juddy, Ramjet too, you all work so bloody hard to gift Brisbane people, and wherever else you go when you go up the Sunshine Coast, down the Gold Coast. The magic and the healing and the joy and the wonder of music. Like, you're just all so amazing, all of you. The other bands I supported for many years at the Treasury Casino Live Wire Bar. So we're having a crisis here with my computer. You really astonish me and amaze me at number one, how talented you all are, and at how hard you work. Like, it's superhuman feats sometimes. So anyway, so I'm dancing very, very wildly, but I got very, very tired after about, I think it was about 10:30, 11. And at one point I'm dancing, but I've got my eyes closed and my soul left my body, which it does when I'm overtired and I'm dancing to the music. Used to happen at the Treasury, after 4 or 5 hours of dancing, I would just, I can feel, and it sort of hovers around me. It's a weird sensation, people, but it doesn't leave me completely. I mean, I'd die if that happened, trust me on that one. But it just kind of removes itself and it just does a little float around to say, what the fuck are you doing, girlfriend? And that's often the moment when I get spiritual downloads or messages, although I'm not always conscious of it either. So I'm going to pay attention to my thoughts and energies in the next few days, because there was some massive there was something really massive happening yesterday, and I'm not even sure what it all means, and it may not be transmitted to me in logical 3D reality communication. It may have just been in that moment where I'm so exhausted I left my body. And but I was conscious that I was floating outside of my body, but not far away, just around, within about a metre of myself. And I'm just flowing with it, enjoying the music, and I'm thinking, I'm so fucking tired right now. I hope I don't faint or something, which has never happened, but it's a worry, It's a worry. So, okay, Tanya, you've done this to yourself. You're enjoying yourself. You're living your best life. Time to reintegrate. So I did a little nod and opened my eyes and back in the room, and Scott's playing but kind of looking at me too, because he knows me. He knows what I'm like when I go through those peaks and troughs and through the night with the music. So I actually went and sat down for a little while, because I felt like I needed to, give my body an actual rest. But my spirit was flying all over that venue. My God, I was everywhere. It was quite astonishing, actually. So I'm sitting down, and by this stage, I only bought 2 drinks last night of Jack Daniels, because I drank on Friday and I don't want to have a lot to drink on the weekend. It's not actually good for me. But you've got to buy a drink, when you're in a pub. Can't be a schnorrer, So I bought 2 drinks, and then I went back to the bar and got a big glass of ice water, and it was kind of cute because the bartender went, Jack, and I went, no, just water, thanks, love. So I was sipping on my water and my ice and just chilling, sitting there. And this very beautiful woman with beautiful, long, really long hair down to her waist, which I'm slightly envious of because my hair won't grow any longer. It's pissing me off, but anyway, what can you do? But she had gorgeous long hair. She ran up to me and goes, you have to dance to this song. Can't even remember what the song was. And so she was trying to drag me up, and I said, just a moment, darling. She says, are you okay? What's wrong? And I went, I've just left my body and all my joints are seized up and I can't possibly stand up right now. Oh, really? And I went, can you just give me 3 seconds, because I have to tell myself that it's okay and get up again and keep moving. But I can't just do it automatically right now. I'm that tired. Okay, love, because they're drunk. They don't really give a flying fuck if you're half dead or alive or not. They're just in the moment, which is perfectly fine. So I gave myself 3 seconds. I said, come on, Tanya, get up, back up on your feet, have some more dancing. You're already tired. It's not going to stop you from being tired whether you sit or whether you dance. Just keep dancing. So up I go, and we went off, that woman and I. We were going off. What was the song? It was an AC/DC song, I think. But anyway, we're going off, and then this other lovely lady who turned out to be a New Zealander as well, she joined in finally. It took them hours to join in. I'd been dancing from the moment I arrived because I figure, thanks Charlie, I figure that's what I come out for. I don't come out to sit around being a stool pigeon, you know. But I realise that other people aren't like me, and they're shy, or they're reticent, or they have to get smashed out of their skull to let go and dance, and they don't have birdies like Charlie to shit down their neck, do they? Well, they might do. Anyway. Thanks, Charlie. Like all my children, you've done a number on me. But I love you. So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so dancing wildly with this two women, and then the lady with the long, light brownish blondie hair, her man got quite possessive when he saw her dancing with me, which was odd. So anyway, he dived in and I nodded, you know. So he dived in and danced too, and they were all very nice. There's only the few of us there. So it was a really lovely evening. So anyway, I stopped and chatted, stayed long enough to chat to, you know, my friends and alter egos while they packed up. The band. Oh, the lady with the long blonde hair comes up to me halfway through the night, because I sometimes, you know, just to be a rock chick, I put my leg up on the stage and I ham things up, because that's what I do. I'm a big fucking ham, you know. And so she comes running up to me and she says, are you and, she didn't know his name, are you and that guy, she says, are you on together, or some weird shit like that? So I looked at her, looked up at Scott, and I went, oh no love, I said, we've been friends. I said, I've been following their band for 13 years and we're friends. I said, there's nothing going on, not biblical anyway. And she just looked at me and went, oh, okay. I was just confused when you put your leg up on the stage, because it does look a bit risque, you know, let's be fair here. And I went, oh, yeah, no, that's just me hamming up, honey. I said, there's nothing in it, you know. She goes, oh, okay. So she was quite sweet, moderating my sexuality, as people sometimes like to do. And it's funny how everyone's so fucking interested in moderating and controlling my sexuality, since I'm an asexual celibate and have been for 8 years. It's like, what the fuck? Every now and then when I start to flower in my sexuality and get a bit naughty or risque, which goes nowhere, people, because all my friends are married and unavailable, but the minute I start to re-innovate that, someone tries to smash me right down. And to be fair, I'm getting a bit sick of that, because, you know, it's time. It's time I fully engaged with life and maybe took a lover one day. And it won't be a simple process to get into a sexual relationship, because I've had years of fucking damage. So the minute that's kind of on offer, I freak out and pirouette away anyway. It's the reason why all my beautiful friends are all either married or gay or in partnerships, for the love of all the gods. There's a man at the Brooklyn Standard that just looks at me every weekend. He's mad fucking keen. If I said, come home with me, honey, and let's have wild, passionate sex, he'd be there like that. But I don't want to, because I actually find it intimidating and confronting that he's like, so you see, it's not them, it's me with my weird trauma issues and weird ways. But anyway, for all I know, he might be the one, and I'm just building up all these barriers because I'm scared of getting into another toxic, shitty, dangerous, life-threatening, rapey, disillusioning, cruel, sadistic, fucked up sexual relationship, right? Had a lifetime of those. So it's why I rejoice in the truly loving agape friendships and affection shown to me, and sweetness and encouragement and motivation, and why I'm really kind of, starting to think maybe the gods are getting me ready to finally invite and accept the one into my life who will not only be a wonderful lover but a wonderful partner to me, and be genuine and authentic and decent and loving and all the things I've never had before in my life at 59, almost 59 years of age. So I thought, yes, I will be riding that wave too, because I do think it's a sign, the way things have started to light up for me, that there's potential for me to have a truly loving partner one day. It was prophesied 30 years ago, by the way. And I pushed that away for 30 years because all I had was one after another of quite dangerous, cruel, sadistic partners. And so there were about 3 periods in my adult life where I shut down my sexuality completely. This is about the 3rd time, 8 years, that I completely shut it all off, but still intrepidly go out in the world and go dancing just to be part of the world and be alive, but not taking anyone home, people. Not taking anyone home or going to their homes. Nothing of a sexual nature. I just got tired of the abuse dynamics and being used and being treated like a piece of trash when I'm not a piece of trash. I'm a wonderful, vibrant, loving, powerful woman. But men, unfortunately, up until recent memory, were very intimidated by my power as a woman, to the point where they would actually try to murder me. So there is that. So anyway, I had a wonderful... Oh, Charlie, get off that. I had a wonderful time, and I'm very happy, and I'm very grateful, and I'm very blessed. And I got in the car and I thought, I shouldn't be driving in this state. I probably should have stayed in the car and had a 10-minute nap or something. But then I worried that the security guards might think I'm drunk or something and it might create dramas. And I thought, well, I'll just go home and I'll drive carefully, as I do anyway at night. And so I got home safely, and I went and had my Epsom salt bath because, I sweat out and all my joints ache, and the dancing, I need the magnesium. Charlie, this is full on, man. You've shat everywhere. So I did that, and had a nice soothing bath, and then went to bed. And so by the time I went to sleep, it was about 3:30. And can you believe, after all the frenzied, energetic activity of dancing wildly for 2 nights, I woke up after only 4 hours sleep at 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, I had to pee, with my bladder issues. So I went and did that, went back to bed, thought, you need to sleep some more, girlfriend. So I slept and I woke up at about 11 o'clock. So I feel good. I mean, I'm still a bit tired, but I feel quite good. So, and then I received a message from the lady with the long hair. She lost her golden diamond bangle last night, and she wondered if I might have found it or picked it up, which was a bit odd that how she found me, but she probably looked on the Alter Egos page and see that I comment on their page and looked at my profile, found me that way. But it was a bit kind of astonishing because I don't know her from Adam. I was just dancing with her last night. But anyway, so I hope she finds her bangle. And I said to her, there are good people in the world, and hopefully whoever found it is an honest person and hands it back into the Koala Tavern and you get it back. I said, I lost a piece of jewellery recently and I was fortunate to get it back. I said, so you might be lucky. There is good out in the world. She said, I had a great night dancing with you last night. So I thought that was lovely, you know. And I do hope she finds her bracelet, because that's a terrible way to end a wonderful night when you lose expensive items of jewellery, you know. So there is that. So anyway, that's my weekend. I've had a wonderful weekend and feeling very much loved and treated with, you know, honour and respect and kindness, and I'm very grateful. And yes, like I said, I'll have to be going over those trance drumming notes that mentioned the triple goddess, because it was so cryptic. But yes, there it was, the family fighting over money and having a terrible mother. And even Jared said, that's a bit astonishing that happened to you, Tanya. I said, oh well, that's life, innit? Anyway, I was going to continue make a longer video, but I think I'll finish here and just call this the post dancing debrief, as I often do, and I'll come back and do my readings of even date in another video. So, greetings from Titania's realm at Sacred Space. I'll be back. Love to all.